Everybody, welcome to the B&T Sports Talk Show. We've been off with our Sunday show for a couple of weeks, so we are glad to be back on a sports-filled Sunday, albeit the NFL games, most of them were atrocious, but that's okay because we're gonna have some fun with it anyway. We'll start off by letting folks know if this is your first time watching us, please subscribe. Please give us a like. We really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Be most helpful to us, and let folks know if you really like what you hear. Let some other people you know that might have some similar interests let them know that we're here so they can join as well. If you don't like us, well, go ahead and click another YouTube video because there are a lot of them. In any case, well, for those who don't know, I am T and this is B.
What up?
Oh man, so B, another exciting show, man. Happy to be back. How you feeling, man?
I feel good, man. It's nice to be back on here. Doing what we do best, talking sports. So for the 2 weeks we were gone, a lot took place.
A lot of stuff happened.
But let's get right into it. What you got for us today?
Well, I think we're gonna start with a topic that's been a hot topic over the past couple of weeks, and B, you actually reminded me before we got on the show that the Miami Dolphins actually had another player get concussed today. Before I start jumping into the meat of the story with Tua. You said Bridgewater got hurt. I'm sorry, I missed that. I didn't see the game.
Yeah, so Teddy Bridgewater went down today with concussion. With that there, and I know it's been a big topic to be discussed in the NFL because of everything that took place with Tua in the Thursday night game against the Bengals. And they kept him out of the game this time here. But I mean, before we get into the concussion thing, let's give some credits to the Jets here where credit needs to be due. No one expected nothing out of this team, and they are actually playing some really good football.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of them. Yeah,
they beat them 40-17.
I picked them.
You did. You took the Jets on the money line, so that was a really good pick there, and they definitely did cover that. But I think what you're seeing is a confident team now. Now that they got Zach Wilson back, James Crowder has actually still been a really decent receiver for them. So having him still playing consistent as well has been good for them. So, in the AFC East, it is now up for grabs because the Dolphins are not going to have their top two quarterbacks. The Patriots are about as inconsistent as it gets. The Bills are going to be the Bills, but I think there may be some competition inside of this AFC East here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely at least an opportunity for a wild card. I mean, so, hey. Yeah. As bad as the Jets have been over the past 5 years, I think they'll take anything.
I think they'll celebrate this.
Man, they get a winning season. They go 9-8, man. They throw in the party, championship trophy. Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna kind of set this up, if you will, for everybody, for maybe those who aren't in on what happened with Tua. The story goes back to I believe it's week 3. Whenever they were playing against the
Bengals.
No, not the Bengals. The game before that, they were playing against the Bills. Excuse me. They were playing against the Bills. So they were playing against the Bills. Tua winds up. He gets rushed. He gets pushed by a defensive lineman. He goes backwards, hits his head back on the ground. He gets up. He wobbles. He can't even stand. He gets up, wobbles, then tries to get up and nearly falls down. He gets up, his teammate holds him up. And at that point, they take him out of the Bills game. He goes into the locker room, and then he comes back out and continues to play the game. So now, fast forward 5 days later. So, because this is a quick turnaround, this is Sunday to Thursday. They go into the game Thursday against the Bengals. Then that's where we see the injury that everybody is referencing. Same concept. He gets rushed, gets hit, gets whipped over, slammed on the back of his head in the same exact spot, in the same way that he got slammed on the back of his head in the previous game. And that's when, unfortunately, we see that he is completely unconscious. His hands free. His whole body's hands freeze up, and it obviously at that point, everybody in the stadium, everybody sitting at home, anybody with eyes can tell you, dude's not right. Like he has a brain injury. Like, so this is not good. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of this is centered around the organization as far as the Dolphins, and the fact that they completely whiffed on this, and after he got hurt the first time, letting him go back in the game and then letting him play in the Thursday night game. And from what I've seen, man, I've watched a few videos about doctors and all this crap, and they all say the same thing. If you get concussed, you have an even greater chance of being concussed again.
100%.
So, I mean, dude, what's the deal, man? Like, to me, this is kind of crazy. I thought the NFL had kind of gotten over this hurdle a little bit after, we went through the whole CT investigation and all this other stuff about 10 or 15 years ago, but it kind of seems like they supremely dropped the ball, man. I don't know.
Well, and it all goes to their team doctor who diagnosed it as a back injury, and that's why he couldn't stand. We've all thrown our back out before in one way by sneezing or anything like that. You don't go wobbling the way you do.
No.
All right. When he got up, there was no straight line coming from Tua. He was all over the map,
right,
trying to get it. And when your teammates have to hold you up like that, come on, man. This isn't rocket science. None of us are doctors here, but we all know there's replays that we can see him whiplash, smacking his head on the ground.
Right.
So they dropped the ball right then and there. But then you're gonna say you ran him through concussion protocol and he passed, but you want to turn him around? Like, I get it. This is it's a violent sport. It's a violent game in every aspect, and you want your team to win, especially the role that they were on.
Right.
But you can't put a player's life, career on the line like that, and that's what the Dolphins did. They got him out there on a Thursday night game, and the difference between smacking your head on turf, smacking your head on grass is light years different. Turf is just about as hard as cement. Even though you got those rubber pallets on there, there's no natural grass underneath there. That is all cement there. So it does take a little more toll on the body on turf than it does on natural grass there. But then, dude, the most scary moment was just when his fingers just locked everything up, and then that's how you knew it was just even more serious. And then now the NFL has to rechange their concussion protocol standards. We were just talking about this before the show here. They called it what do they call it again?
Ataxia.
Just right on it.
Ataxia.
Yeah. If ataxia is observed, that's what the new term is ataxia now. And that is, if they're showing that, then they're pulled out of the game right away for concussion protocol. When it was first originally called as a gross motor instability. That just sounds terrible to name something that way to begin with. Gross motor instability.
And
there should be no terms for this. The guy's got to come out, man.
And that's just a fancy way of saying knock the hell out. Like as Chris Tucker would have said. It's just, it seems very obvious to us. And I think what makes this worse is what you said, which is that a doctor, after we see it with our eyes, a doctor then goes through the protocol with him and decides that he has an ankle and a back injury. So either somebody's incompetent or somebody's lying. And I'm actually more inclined to believe that they're lying, right? Because they want to keep their player on the field. So I think that's also very troublesome, because this is a young guy's career. And although this situation I'm about to compare it to is different, I mean, it's like RG3 all over again. Like, you can't... Shanahan pissed on RG3's entire career. He had him out there playing on a bum knee just because they were in the playoffs. And he had no business being out there. And after that season, the guy was never the same again. And so when you don't protect players, even if they're young, it really shows that the NFL is what we think it is. That the NFL doesn't care about its players.
Yep.
It's not concerned with the overall health or well-being of the players, and they've proven that time and time again. Whether it be the CTE investigation, whether it be the way that they were not taking care of older players who had already retired from the league, as far as medical issues stemming from playing, which they kind of shored up a little bit a few years back, and or just the fact that they let people who have committed crimes, or at least accused of being committed crimes, like Ben Roethlisberger and the Hardy guy. I remember, forgot his first name. He used to play with the Cowboys. Let those guys.
Greg Hardy.
Greg
Hardy?
Yeah, let guys right back out.
I was gonna say Jeff Hardy, but that's the clothing
brand. They let those guys right back out on the field.
Yeah.
And just let them. Same thing we had at the beginning of the season with Deshaun Watson. And it's just the league has been very inept with handling certain situations. But this one's a little different because I guarantee you, if Tua is lucky that the situation that happened, he was able to get up from, that he's okay, and it's going to take him a good deal of time to recover from this. I think with all eyes being on Miami Dolphins, the league, and Tua, he will not be playing over the next 4 to 5 weeks. I can't see a situation where they put him back out there, in my opinion, the remainder of the season. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I take the risk of this kid completely being paralyzed, having a brain injury, a permanent brain injury, or heaven forbid, dying on the field. And so with all eyes on them they need to go ahead and, in my opinion, he shouldn't play another game this season.
No, they should absolutely shut him down because he's not even. I think he's in his mid-20s. I think.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
A lot of football ahead of him, man. Like, you can't take that away from him. And the NFL is everything about the CTE. They've wanted to study more, but yet here you go putting another player's life on the line. These last couple of weeks here, all for what? It's week 4 of the NFL.
Right.
Like, your season's not defined by week 4. I think by week 8, but he should be fine by then. And now you don't have him potentially, like you said, for the rest of the year. I think the NFL really, really screwed that up in his health there, because we don't know what's going to happen to him a year from now, 2 years from now.
Right.
You've had a few years ago, you had players, playing 1 or 2 games, 1 or 2 years in the NFL and then dropping out because of the way the concussion protocol was being handled. And so you're losing players that way, and you got to keep – the NFL's got to put the money to the side because it's cash is king for the NFL. No matter what, you're going to get people going there. At the same time, you really need to take this whole CTE thing very, very seriously because they've dropped the ball once again. Yeah. And now they're having to rechange concussion protocols when that should be the number one safety for your players in a game like this.
Right. Right, and it's just downright sad because if everybody in the building can see it, and then you're going to take the time to pretend like it didn't happen and falsify all this, like it seems so unnecessary. They really just need to make sure they protect the player for the long haul. What was the quarterback? Andrew Luck. Remember Andrew Luck? Luck was a very great quarterback, had great numbers in all intents. If you were to talk to anybody during his prime, which is when he left, really, they would have told you this guy is going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. But he took a lot of hits, and
he was getting belted, dude.
He took the time himself to step back from the game and say, "I'm out," And there are other players that have come forward and done that as well, and you see why. And because the nature of the business, the nature of football, is you got to be out there to make the money. Remember, this goes back to the owners being in control in an NFL, in the NFL as far as the revenue goes. They don't get guaranteed contracts. Guys have to be on the field. If you get hurt, you're making a whole lot less money. That's how the NFL works. In the NBA or in the baseball, if you get hurt, then they're not in most scenarios, especially in the NBA. You're going to make the same amount of money. It doesn't matter if you got injured or not.
Yeah. There's guaranteed contracts.
Exactly. There's guaranteed contracts. In the NFL, it's not guaranteed. If you get injured, you're going to lose money because you're missing games. That's just the bottom line. And so I think there's something that needs to happen on a larger scale, in order for the NFL to take notice. Now, I'm not saying that it needs, and people argue, the NBA is player run, and there's a lot of negativity around the NBA with player movement and players, just the control of players over the league. But in the case of the NFL, I think the NFL players do need more control because at the end of the day, it's their bodies that are on the line. And if they're not going to be paid adequately or given some type of securities, then these teams are going to continue to treat them like, dismissible objects. That's it.
That's, just to add to that point there, we're paying to go watch these players. I'm not paying to go watch Harbaugh sit on the sideline and make calls, especially if I can't hear him through the headset. Second, I'm not paying to go watch Jerry Jones sit in his $1 million luxury box while I'm sitting in the row 500 watching the game on a big ass television. No, I'm paying money to watch these players. The NBA allows the players to dictate the league. You know why? Because those are the guys who make the money. So you got to give that kind of control to them. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I've never seen an NBA player take that power and overuse it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They use it when they have to, but they know that they have the power to do it. The NFL gives it all to the owners. The only thing they get is a signing bonus. That is the only thing an NFL player is guaranteed. It's not a 6-year contract, 3-year guaranteed money. It's a 6-year contract. I mean, you got to fulfill that or find a team to get traded to help take care of the rest of that. And that's still not guaranteed money. You got to complete the contract.
Yeah.
Baseball does 10-year contracts, 8 years guaranteed. These guys can get hurt and say, you know what, I'll take the rest of the year off because I'm still making my money.
Right.
Where an NFL player is like, dude, you got a rolled ankle. We're gonna take the hell out of you, and we're gonna give you a shot, and you get back on that field.
That's right. You got to get back out there because they're trying to support and feed their families just like anybody else.
Yep.
And so I think that brings up, like, that's a great point. I think it brings up the fact that there is a bigger issue at play here, because of the way the contracts are set up in the NFL. So the hope is that at some point that they come to some type of realization that the NFL makes more money than any of the other leagues by far. And the fact that they don't share a lot of it with the players, I think lets you know all you need to know, man. If they're making $10+ billion, or I think they make way more than that, a year, and guys are getting contracts where if I get hurt tomorrow, well, guess what? I'm gonna be docked every single game check I miss, or I'm only gonna make 50% of what I would have made, or I'm only gonna make 25%, or whatever it is. I think that's why players are treated this way, and so it's tough to have to wait for something like this to happen before people recognize that NFL players are people and that they play a very dangerous game. But I hope that what comes out of this is not only just more of an emphasis on concussions and creating a protocol that actually helps players, but also that changes the way that the league deals with the players when it comes to their importance to the game, and not just injury, but their importance to the game overall, and hopefully start offering them some type of guarantees whenever guys have injuries so that they aren't in the locker room going, Coach, I'm fine, just put me back out there, because they know if they don't go out there, it's not just that they're disappointing their teammates, it's also that they're going to miss a game check. They're not going to be able to play. That's why guys don't want to go into concussion protocol, because then they got to miss a week.
Yeah,
off top.
I agree 100%. But this is where I also have a problem too, is with the head coach there, because the head coach has all the authority in the world to tell, hey man, we're going to rest you for the week. Nothing. Doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So now you're still putting your guy in a vulnerable position, because he now, you want him out there for that victory there.
Right.
When he shouldn't be out there. Like, Mike McDaniels has to have authority to say, hey, you know what? I need him for the long run.
Right.
I need him. That's why you have backup quarterbacks. And Teddy Bridgewater suffers a concussion today.
Right. Yeah.
So you put your guys in these bad situations when he could have easily said, hey, you know what? We'll rest you for one more week. It's not like your season's going to depend on it. And we'll evaluate you again and bring you back in the next week. And now that's not to say he could have suffered concussion the following week.
Right.
But at least you took the safety measures to protect your player. There was no protection in Tua's case. It was, all right, hey, we need you Thursday night. It's a big game against the Bengals on national television. Get out there.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
man.
sometimes I don't think the players have a voice in that. I know when we're hurt, we want to go out there because we want to be a part of the team and whatnot. But hey, man, if I can't give you my 100%, I'm not going out there
Yeah.
because I'm not going to hurt the team that way.
Right. 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 Yeah, man. And it's just again, it's an unfortunate situation. From the reports that I've seen, Tua is like he's okay, meaning he has all his faculties. He can move his arms, his legs, and all that. So that's really a good thing. But the hope is that he has his own personal doctors, not team doctors, but his
Yeah.
own personal doctors monitoring his brain function and his overall health and well-being, and that they give him an honest opinion based on a medical from a medical side that is not related to the NFL. Because after what we saw with people making up injuries, I would never trust anything a team doctor would ever say to me again. I would seek my own personal doctor, have them walk through the steps with me, be honest with me, tell me, hey
Yep.
hey bro, look, you play football, it's not good, this is what can happen to you, make a choice, and just be real about it. You know what I mean? Because I mean that to me, if that was my, you think about it, like if that was your kid or something out there, I mean, it'd be like, look, that's nice that you made millions of dollars, but it ain't worth dying. Like, get this kid off the field, get my kid out of there. Why is he back in the game? Like that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
completely crazy. Um,
They they got to do better, man. That was a rough 2 weeks to watch, man, because it's he was having a good season too.
yeah,
And the Dolphins were playing good. So you mean to tell me you can't afford 1 week
right,
without your quarterback?
right. Yeah, of course you can. Come on, it's ridiculous. Well, let's transition out of that into the great wide world of sports. So we'll still stay in the NFL and kind of talk about some of the games today, and we'll start with a Bay Area team and then our teams as well. I mean, there isn't a whole lot to say. The 49ers played today, but this is what we've been saying all along, which is that once Jimmy G got back, that they would go back to being the team that they were last year. And that's a lot of what I'm seeing. Yeah, Jimmy G kind of forces the ball sometimes and makes some interesting plays. Luckily, DBs don't have good hands. I'll just put it like that.
That's why
Uh,
they play defense. That's why they ain't offense. That's why they play defense because they can't catch the
you
ball.
got that right. But the running game has been on point. The screen game has been on point. Kittle has been back. And they look like they did last year, man. They're playing with the same formula: run the ball, play tough defense, get down, play the field position game, and doesn't matter how much you win by, just get the win. So that's what they've been doing, man. So
Baker Mayfield did not stand a chance today against that defense. Our
nah,
boy was getting rocked.
I
I
mean
mean,
the dude was out there. He was out there getting shut down like he was a kid playing with his big brother. Like every time he threw the ball just went boing,
yeah.
ding, bling. Like the ball was bouncing off people's arms, helmets. Like he was a little. I almost want to go back there and stack 5 phone books in the backfield just for him to step on so he could throw a pass. I felt real bad for him.
First of all, that's Kyler Murray. He's the one who needs the phone books because he really can't see
Yeah,
over
but he
that
could
line.
run. But Kyler Murray runs out of the pocket to create space. Poor
But
Baker Mayfield is just he didn't have anything going for him.
I think for the Niners, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is the winning games here against teams like this. I think the blowout against the Rams last week was a bit of a shocker there. I mean, they have their number, but I wasn't expecting that kind of performance. And then today is supposed to be a performance kind of day that they get from them. I
Yep.
think I think now that Jimmy G is comfortable, back in everything is starting to get into rhythm. You saw the Niners hit the rhythm, right away. Their
Yeah.
offensive line set the tone. The rushing offense was out of control. Dude, the Panthers had no business tackling anyone. Apparently,
No.
like it was a plague that they did not want to touch.
Yeah, no, man.
And so I think with this game coming up next week at the Falcons, obviously it's another winnable game for them, and then they kind of get into a really pretty decent stretch run of games here. They host the Chiefs at home. They go back to the Rams, but then they get the Chargers and the Cardinals right after that as well. So there's there's some pretty good games coming up against them, and these are the times where they find out how good the team is. But in all honesty, it's not shocking that the Niners are in this position with Jimmy G running the show there.
I mean, it's their division to win at this point.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, the Rams are 2-3 now. Arizona's crap. The Seahawks we knew were going to be terrible from jump, and what seemingly looked like a really good division has now just become a big steaming pile of doo doo. So it's theirs to win, in my opinion, just because of the style of play that they have and how good their defense is. They're walking around with pretty much the best defense in the league, in my opinion, and so it's gonna be difficult, man, for other teams to play them, man, because they're one of those teams where if you're only scoring 14 points a game, then they always got an opportunity to win.
Yep, absolutely there. And, it's getting the hands into the playmakers. And George Kittle's been MIA for the last couple of weeks. And then he finally I think he had 5 receptions today for 40 yards or something like that. So that's the other weapon that they haven't used yet is Kittle. They've been using him as blocking. I think that was just more the fact that, he's been injured. You got to work him into the system here off that growing injury. So I think this was kind of a good way to come out. I would expect a big game from George Kittle next week against the Falcons there.
Yeah.
To get him really going there. But again, it's all they got to do is there's so many playmakers on that team. 5-yard passes is all they need because 5 could turn into 20 in the blink of an eye.
That's the game plan. The game plan is to dump off short and create in space and create plays. That's it. And so you got Deebo Samuels, you got Ayuk. Am I saying his name right? Ayuk. Guys they got the speed. They can make plays in the open field, and so all Jimmy G has to do is just put the ball in the right space, which he struggles with sometimes. But 5-yard dump offs, you can do that all day. 5 to 10-yard throws. Now the moment I see him wind up to throw it 15 yards down the field, I do get a little scared. I will say that.
I'm like, this would be interesting.
Exactly. Like, no, Jimmy, stop it.
Stop throwing the ball.
Exactly.
More than 15 yards. It's not required from you right now.
No, it really ain't. Well, we'll transition into my Las Vegas / Oakland Raiders. They didn't play this week, but they have a big game coming up, and I have picked the over for this game, by the way, folks. So I'm expecting this to be a high-scoring affair. I think the Raiders are going to give a good effort. I think we will see a lot of points put on the board. I don't know if they'll be able to beat the Chiefs, however. The Chiefs not surprising. The Chiefs' offense has been clicking for some years now. Although they lost Tyreek Hill, they've still been able to find ways to get the ball down the field and get in the end zone. Obviously, because they got Pat Mahomes, they got Travis Kelce. Juju Smith-Schuster has been, he's been all right. But
he ain't a wide receiver one, that's for sure.
No, he's not. But when you got Pat Mahomes, it doesn't matter. Just get open. Or just get open a little bit and he'll find you. So that's kind of been the deal. So the Raiders are missing some of their defensive players, especially in the secondary. I don't know if they're I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I do believe that they are going to put their best foot forward, and I think you'll see a better performance from Carr. I think you'll see Devontae Adams. I want to see more of Waller get into the mix and make some plays down the middle of the field. And Josh Jacobs really showed up for us big last week, so I'm hoping we can just bring this offense together, man, and have a high-scoring, 36 to 38 or 31 to 34 type of game.
You just want the over.
I do.
Like
I mean,
you just
whatever.
want the over. But
whatever,
I think,
man.
And the Raiders are getting Hunter Renfrow.
He's coming back.
Well.
Yep.
He's off the concussion protocol, so they're getting back. So the Raiders have always given the Chiefs problems, even in Arrowhead. For some reason, they find a way to give them fits here. So I think this will be a pretty close game. I mean, the Raiders, unfortunately, they're in a position where they have to get on a hot streak now before the season becomes an
Over.
absolute disappointment
Yeah.
for them there. And Devontae Adams is having a hell of a season to start off with for that there. But I think a win tomorrow night in Arrowhead would really help to kind of turn things around for the Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles, back to Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders here.
the
So
the nomadic Raiders.
the
Yes,
nomadic traveling Raiders there. So
that's right.
I think this will be big for them to really um, to get everything back on track. Because if you go 1-4 in a division where realistically it could be, it's right now it's only a one man race in the division.
Yeah, it's just the Chiefs, man.
It's just the Chiefs right now. They're the best looking team in there. But if you can hand them a loss, you're one game out of you're one game out.
Yeah.
And now everything's back to even. So, it'll be an interesting game for them. But if they end up losing, you may start hearing some noises about the Raiders there.
Yeah, well, they're gonna blame the quarterback first. I know that for sure. Carr's always been
Always
under
happens.
fire. So, it's always the quarterback and the coach. And since they just got the coach, it's probably going to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I think Derek Carr is a great quarterback, but I just think whatever system they're running or what they're trying to implement just hasn't fully formed yet. And so you're seeing games where they have a good half and then they have a bad half, or they start off well, they end rough, or they start off not too great and then they just play a little better in the second half. And the defense, our rushing has been okay, but our secondary never really has been that great. I know Hobbs was there at the beginning, and I think he got hurt at some point, but they just have to do a better job overall of putting that offense together, because to be quite honestly, that's where we spent all the money, most of the money at least, is on that side of the ball. So we're going to move on to your team, who, well, can we? I mean, they're still playing right now.
I believe it was 10-10 at the half here, so
Yeah, so
not
I don't know.
not too high scoring here. Well, thank God, because the next thing I need is another 17 to 20 point blown lead. For a team that should be 4-0, not 2-2 right now. But it's this is. I was expecting a little bit more of a shootout. It's turned into a little bit of defensive game here. Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things, making plays, and also throwing to the other team, which he has a tendency to really do. But it's nice to see the defense show up for the first half, and now they just need to carry that to the second half for this game to make things a little better. But we'll see. The last 2 weeks haven't been in their favor as far as holding leads, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel bad for your team. They are playing a little inconsistent from one week to the next. However, I think you're in a division where you'll still have an opportunity to get in the playoffs.
Not worried about that. But let's talk about one team who I think maybe we could talk about that division overall. And I know no one likes to talk about it, but at this point, it's got to be talked about. And that's the NFC East. The New York Giants went to London and beat the Green Bay Packers.
Are you gonna claim them as your team, as your underdog? I mean,
I called it.
Okay, yeah, you gotta own it, man. You gotta own it. So this is the dark horse team right now. This is the dark horse.
Dude, Saquon Barkley doesn't get the love and respect that he deserves in this league here, and how much of a difference he makes in a league where running backs aren't really sought out to be, kind of rescuing of the team. He's rescuing that team.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's having a career year right now. He iced the game for the Giants against the Packers today. But I give credit to Daniel Jones as well. On a bum ankle, was rushing. That's the last.
Yeah, he sure was. I don't know what he was doing. Yeah,
is to get out there and start running on a bad ankle. But he also protected himself in getting down as well, so he wasn't absorbing too many hits there. But the fact that they went to London against Aaron Rodgers, who I have mixed feelings about, but it was a 4-1 Packers team. And I guarantee you, no one in this world picked the Giants outside of you, sir.
Yes, that's right.
To win this game. And the Giants were +8, and they covered the spread. So as of right now, Taj, you are sitting 2-0
2-0,
as
baby.
far as our our Friday night pick
2-0.
So you just need the over tomorrow at 51.5, and you're going to go perfect, sir.
I'm telling you. And here I am with no money on the line. God damn it.
Let's talk about who I believe right now is the best team in football, and they don't get that respect, is the Philadelphia Eagles.
5-0. Best
5-0,
record.
and no one's talking about them. It's everyone's talking about the Bills, and rightfully so. They just smacked the Steelers today, but that team is a force to reckon with. If there was a team to challenge right now, the 49ers, it's them.
Yeah.
I honestly think so. They are ball hawks on the defensive end, and Jalen Hurts having an MVP season. I didn't have him in my MVP, but he for sure is having an MVP season, and it's so quiet. Nobody talks about it.
I mean, if you look at what they've done, I mean, they came out and they've been handling business all the way along now. The first game of the season looks like, who were they playing? The Lions or something? I mean, they've had some,
they've had some
lackluster talent. The Commanders, the Jaguars, but they did beat they beat the Vikings.
And they just went into Arizona today and beat the Cardinals.
That's right, and they beat the Cardinals. So they're just winning who's being put in front of them, which is a whole lot more than what I could say for a lot of other teams in the NFL. But the biggest thing I think to point out is they're ahead of in a division that's pretty tight. I mean, I guess if you look at it, or not, I guess if you look at it, you got the Eagles at 5-0, the Cowboys and the Giants are 4-1. And of course, the Commanders round out the bottom there because they're the whipping boy for this division. But this division has always been close throughout the years, but generally they're all 500 or below teams together. They're not winning
records here.
Right.
They're like 500.
Right.
Let's put them on Sunday Night TV or something like that. But there's going to be a really good game this Sunday night. That's the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys have a pretty interesting dilemma on their hands. Ginger Cobb, I don't know his name, but I know Redhead Cobb. That's what I'm gonna call him. Redhead Cobb is over here stealing Dak Prescott's job out of his hands. Yeah. And so Dak Prescott was scheduled to come back, I think, in week 6. Well, week 6 is next week.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do?
I mean, this might be one of those scenarios where you say, "Hey, man, why don't you stay at home for a game?" I think that I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it depends on how many drinks he's had with Jerry Jones. That's really what it takes.
I honestly, if the Cowboys can learn from the Niners lesson, you ride that hot hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Cobb hasn't played himself out of this. He's maintained a foot. Dak Prescott got hurt in week 1, right? Was it week 1?
Yeah.
He's won 4 games for them.
Yeah.
He's on a 4-game winning streak right now. And you can't remove that from him. He's earned that. I think it turns into a quarterback competition, but as of right now, he's on a 1-loss. As soon as Dak comes back 100%, he's on a short leash. I think you give him one loss, and then if that happens, here comes Dak Prescott. But until then, this is Cobb's team for the time being.
Well, I think Dak Prescott. I think they're going to go back to Dak because they got the money invested in the guy, and he is for all intents and purposes a better quarterback. Although I don't know a lot about Rush, but the thing with Dak is he just can't stay on the field. No. And I think that's where the conversation you're talking about. I think that really comes into play. Is like, hey. It's not that I don't believe that Dak Prescott isn't a better quarterback. It's just his availability is always uncertain. And so if he goes out and he gets injured again, and he misses, 2, 3, 4 games, and this other kid comes in and, picks up a couple more wins, then I could see it being a situation going into the offseason where they really have to start thinking like, hey, Dak, dude, this is like the 3rd season in a row where we think we've got it, and then you've fallen apart. I mean, hell, it was only 1 game into the season. I guess that's the best time to get hurt if you're going to get hurt, but still, I mean, he's becoming Anthony Davis on us right now. So he's got to kind of step it up a little bit, or not step it up. A guy gets injured, he gets injured, but he's if he can't find his way on the field, then they got to go with the next best option. And I think that's what the Cowboys are looking at if they go through one more year of this, where he's not available for more than half of the season. Then yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to start looking elsewhere. You got to start thinking, can we make a trade for such and such? Can we get this guy? Can we get that guy? You know, maybe Lamar Jackson is in a Cowboys uniform next year. You know, you never know.
No,
No, I'm just
don't
joking.
you ever,
I'm
don't you ever put
messing
that
with
name
you.
into that team there. I think the most disappointing division is the AFC South right now. This is a
Let me bring those stats
division.
up. AFC South, huh?
Let me just put it to you like this: AFC South, the top team, of course, is the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
Their .4 and point against is -22. Teams are outscoring them, yet they are 3-2 and lead that division. That is a terrible division.
Man.
The Jaguars, on the other hand, are 2-3 with a difference of +31, and they're sitting in third place. Like, this division sucks.
It's Tennessee's division. The Colts have been kind of up and down. They're a 500 ball club at 2-2, and then the Texans are outright garbage, which is a surprise to no one. I don't think any of these teams, outside of maybe the Colts, have a chance to get a wild card. The Titans, the Titans can go ahead and, I mean, they can go ahead and shoot themselves into the playoffs at this point. I mean, I don't see a situation unless one of these teams gets really hot. You know, who knows? Maybe the Jaguars, since they're such a young team, maybe they get hot and make some noise and win 2 or 3 games in a row.
Well, they are. I mean, the Jags are 2-3. They're just a game out of first place, to say the least.
Yeah, it's just hard watching any of these teams, though.
Oh God, dude,
they're
it's
so
like,
bad. The Colts were atrocious.
Thursday night, that was terrible.
The Titans are boring as hell to watch, man. And Tannehill can't throw the ball over 5 yards, and if Derrick Henry's not going for 100 and $150, I don't need to watch it.
Nope.
And then I don't even know who plays on the Texans, so don't even bother asking.
Brandon Cooks.
Who?
Nico Collins.
Exactly.
Davis Mills. Shout out, Davis Mills went to Stanford.
It's all those guys sound like they played on the Warriors bench.
Back in the early 2000s.
That's right. Yeah, they were Cook, and I don't know any of these guys. Who are they? So yeah, I think that division is trash for the most part, man. I don't know. But man, what do you think about? I'm trying to see what else we were missing here. I think looking back at the division that the Ravens are in, I think your team really has to step it up, because it looks like in my opinion, they're squandering an opportunity to be 4 games. They should be head and shoulders above everybody else.
There should be 2 teams undefeated in the NFL, and that is the Ravens and the Eagles. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased, but
of course you are.
The Ravens blew 2 20-point leads back to back.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a problem. And considering how bad the Bengals have come out, the fact that the Browns no longer have a starting quarterback after Deshaun Watson finally got got the axe, and the Steelers are just rolling out rookie quarterbacks to get crapped on.
Dude, he took a shot today on the sidelines. Homeboy got a welcome to the NFL moment. He just got obliterated into the sidelines.
Yeah, man, I don't know what that's about. Who were they starting before? Mitchell Trubisky?
Yeah, there was a reason why he got bounced out of Chicago.
Yeah, I know, but I might as well just roll him at this point. I don't see what the point is. But I guess they want to find out if they have something special in the kid. I don't know. I don't see it.
So, I mean, outside of tomorrow night's game, which I still think is a really good matchup for the NFL, I think outside of this, I think you want to take a look into week 6 here. Dude, did you see the Thursday night matchup for this week?
Wait, who is it?
It's the Commanders and the Bears.
Oh, my God. The Commanders and the Bears. First off, what the hell is a commander? I don't...
The NFL had the only good Thursday night game they've had so far was the Bengals and the Dolphins, because they were both had winning records.
And what was the opener? The opener was good. The Bills, it was a blowout, but still, the Bills and the Rams. But I mean that's garbage. And normally, I don't know how much Amazon paid for these games, but I hope they warn them that the Thursday night games are typically pretty bad, especially once you get into the meat of the season.
The Thursday night games are for the teams who can never get a Sunday night or a Monday night game.
True
They
that.
have to find a way to put that team on
True
prime time
that.
for one game.
One night only, folks.
Jesus.
One night only. You get to watch the Harlem Globetrotters against the Washington Generals. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Washington Commanders.
Well, let's take a look into next week's schedule, kind of early, just the early matchups, and the really one game sticks out, and I cannot wait to watch this. And that's Buffalo at Kansas City.
Woo! That's gonna be a barn burner, baby. I'm
Yup,
sure everybody
after-
watched the playoff game last year between those two teams where they
That
scored
was
touchdown after touchdown after touchdown in the fourth quarter until one team had it was just the last guy with the ball won the game, and that ended up being Pat Mahomes. So
Go figure.
I'm telling you, man, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan. I really like what Josh Allen has done in his early stages of his career. He looks great. He looks great out there. He looks like if Ben Roethlisberger only ate salads. It's great. It's just like he's got the arm, he's got the movement, he can escape when guys try to sack him. He looks good out there. So I'm really excited to see that game. Is that a primetime B or when are they playing?
No, that's a 120.
Oh my NFL! Come on.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, there's a really good primetime matchup, and that's the Eagles and the
Cowboys.
and the,
Yeah,
Cowboys.
yeah, okay, all right.
But then you have Denver once again.
Why?
Against the Chargers.
Why do they keep
Honestly,
putting Russell
they can flex
Wilson
that.
sucks?
They gotta flex that. Here's one game I'm really interested in, and it is the Jets because they're going to Lambeau.
Dude, if the Packers lose to the Jets after losing to the Giants,
do you think the season's over?
I think we can put up like a we can just put a stake in the Packers, like we can melt the cheese. Literally, like we can melt the cheese because at this point, we've watched Green Bay underperform for the better part of 10 years now. And what about this team is any different from the one from last year who should have gone to the Super Bowl, who only lost 3 games, and they got their asses handed to them by the 49ers? I mean, I'm not buying this team at all. These guys are posers. They've been posers for years now. Aaron Rodgers won that one damn Super Bowl, and then they made him the best quarterback in the league for like 10 years after that, even though he never even did anything. I don't like it, man.
He is the greatest good quarterback in the league.
Exactly.
For a while.
Did he play in any other Super Bowls?
No.
Yeah, he was just the one.
There was just the
Oh.
one. He has not been in another Super Bowl since. But there were 2 other things I wanted to talk about. One is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I know we would love talking about you and your Tom Brady.
F Tom Brady.
You want to talk about protecting a quarterback? The Falcons sacked him, and they called it unnecessary roughness on the quarterback that negated the sack.
Wow.
And Tom Brady's interview says, "I don't call the fouls." I mean, rightfully so. You're not going to sit there and admit to something, but go back and take a look at that. There, just watch the highlights of Tom Brady getting sacked in that game. There's no roughing the passer. There's no malicious throw. The defensive end made a typical play, rolled over. He spun him around, threw him to. He didn't even throw him to the ground. He tackled him to the ground. They called it unnecessary roughness, which was garbage.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say. Again, if you didn't hear me first time, F Tom Brady. This is the same thing. Tuck rule, they protect him now because, oh no, he blew out his ACL. Oh, now we got to protect him and all this other garbage. I mean, the guy's sitting back there like a cement statue. I mean, the guy, he can't even run anymore. He looks like he's about to fall forward. Remember, did you see him go for? He had I think 2 weeks ago, he had like a 15-yard run. And I swear I was watching a 6-year-old on a treadmill. So it's just like, no, I have no Tom Brady, he pisses me off to no end. It's a Raider thing, folks. I'm sorry, but it's just I'm tired of hearing about the guy. He needs to retire. Yes, he is the greatest quarterback of all time. I'll give him that, but enough already. Go home, play with your family if they're still there when you get there. I know that was rude. I'm sorry.
Damn. Yo, look who we got back. Welcome back, Drunk. We missed you, man. Good to see you back in the chat here, man. Let's get caught up with some of Drunk's comments here. The announcers love gassing up Aaron Rodgers. OMG, I never seen a throw like that. Dude, that's the only reason why Aaron Rodgers' name gets thrown around as the greatest of all time, because the announcers love putting their faces so far up his ass. It's out of control,
stupid, man.
And he's literally done nothing in the playoffs outside of that Super Bowl win.
Drew Brees is 5 times better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers is.
100%.
But whenever they both were playing, the whole league constantly talked about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, we've never seen a guy do. Oh my God, look at the. And it's like, dude, Aaron Rodgers he's a good talent. He's a talented guy, but he is not a leader of men. I don't believe anybody that's played with him was like, oh man, I love playing with Aaron Rodgers. No, nobody. Hell, Devontae Adams was like, nah, I'm all right. I'll go play for Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, he left Aaron Rodgers to go play with Derek Carr. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The refs still baby Brady to wins. Oh, that's 100%. Yeah. They're protecting the league's most valuable asset.
That's right.
Tom Brady's. I mean, I feel bad for the guy for what he's going through, but I mean, I was at the softball field today, and one of our teammates goes, "At least he's not Leonardo DiCaprio, who dumps him after 25 years old." And was like,
"Wait, what?
Got a point.
Wait, at least he's not Yeah, but what does that have? Okay. Hold on. I was saying, so Leo gets him to 25 and dumps him because he can. Okay, if people decide they don't want to be with Leo because they know he's gonna dump them at 25, that's on them. There's 2 sides to every coin. Okay, we're not gonna sit up and blame Leonardo DiCaprio because the women join him, and then when he gets to 25, he decides he doesn't want to be with him anymore. If the guy did it 5 times already, and you the 6th one to get in line, well, that's your problem. Okay, I'm not at a hot dog stand asking for a pizza. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm serious. And Tom Brady, his deal is completely different. He's married. He's got kids. I don't know the situation, but it sounds like his wife would have been a lot happier if he did not play football. And the guy decided to go play football. So here he is in the league, pissing around with the Bucks. They'll make the playoffs and lose in the first round, and then the guy will retire. And like I said, hopefully his family's still there when he gets back.
Tom Brady better ask for alimony. I think he's going to end up getting Tiger Woods, man. You know how much Tiger Woods had to pay homegirl to get out of that.
Yeah.
Now it's a different situation, but I think Giselle's going to get some money out of him.
Yeah.
Oh no, man! Doing this podcast during this, it's a big divisional game too, because it's basically for first place. I'll catch the rest of the second half here. Sorry to hear about your St. Louis Cardinals, Drunk, but. Hey, congratulations to Pujols and Yadier for having some outstanding careers there. But
yeah, man.
What was I gonna say? I thought I had something unintelligent to say and I forgot about it.
It's all right, man. I'm sure it'll pop back up.
Hopefully.
Well, I think we covered some of the top matchups that we are looking forward to next week. So we got that, and one thing I know we wanted to, and we kind of put this. We put this at the bottom of the kind of to discuss list, and we actually covered some of it during our Friday show. So I don't know how much you want to dig into it, B, but we talked a little bit about the Draymond thing, and so I don't know how many people watched our Friday show, but we got into it a little bit of discussion about Draymond and some of the things, and I had a very, very, a very, very good conversation with Mama Birdie earlier today.
Held you from going
in regards to this this situation, and she really felt like, and she asked me to mention it, so I'm gonna bring her up. Shout out Mama Birdie. She asked about as far as Draymond goes, she feels like Draymond is getting a lot of the brunt of this, obviously, but feels that some of his reputation is unfair. So I'm gonna throw that over to you, B, because I'll comment. I'm not a Warriors fan, so my interpretation of Draymond or how I feel about Draymond is gonna be a lot different from yours. I mean, how do you feel about that, man? What do you think? Is he just being labeled? Is this just a circumstantial thing, or is it just a Draymond being Draymond thing.
It comes with the territory of who he is. It's the unfortunate part. It's labeled underneath Draymond's name. You don't see it under the fine writing, but it's there.
Yeah.
This comes with him. It comes with what you get from Draymond. Now, we discussed it on Friday. It's an ugly situation for the Warriors, especially going into a championship defending season. But there's two sides to every story. You don't get punched like that for arguing with a teammate over practice. That does not happen. I believe something was said. It's both these fools' faults for what happened. But TMZ released something today. Now I can't say this is true or not.
Yeah.
But they're saying things escalated when Poole allegedly said, "You know what it is, Draymond," seemingly bragging over the contract situation. And Draymond got in Poole's face, allegedly saying, "No, I don't know. What is it?" I guarantee you, like I said on Friday, there are 3 players looking for max contracts, and there's only one to be handed out.
Yeah.
Who are you giving it to, and who is willing to take less money, and who is willing to say, you know what, I'm out. There's other teams in this league that could give me a max contract. This is where the egos are starting to take place here. Jordan Poole broke into the league. He had a bit of a cocky attitude when he got here. That trip to the G League for that extended period of time humbled him, and we got what we got out of him last year. But I wouldn't be shocked, in my honest opinion, if that was part of the discussion there.
Yeah, and then
because the same thing happened with him and KD.
Exactly, and Drunk brought that up. He's on the chat, hitting us up. Thank you, Drunk. So nobody, he chimed in with, nobody can tell me Draymond wasn't thinking about the extension money. As you mentioned, that's what the conversation may have been about. And then Drunk also chimes in with, let's not forget Draymond part. He's one of the reasons KD left, whether KD wants to admit it or not. And then Draymond, what did he say? Wait, Draymond, Poole. Who's the other one? It's Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins. So yeah, man. I mean, and like I said, we kind of discussed a little bit, but ultimately, I get it. Like, I know he's upset, and I know he feels like he's worth more. And the Warriors are going to go young. And I was actually talking to Mama Birdie about this. It's the same thing with the Lakers and Kobe and Shaq, right? Do you pay the 34, 35-year-old Shaquille O'Neal and get 2 more years out of him? Or do you go with the younger, sprier Kobe Bryant, and pay him and move Shaq out? And ultimately, it was a either him or me situation in that scenario. Nobody was going to take. They didn't like each other. That was the main issue. But it's the same problem for the Warriors. The Warriors have to get younger. Okay, the most important player on the Warriors team is Stephen Curry, not Draymond Green. Okay, let's get that straight first. And in order to get the maximum out of the remaining Steph Curry years before he leaves and goes plays with Charlotte for 3 years and retires,
that's not happening.
Whatever.
That's not happening.
I don't know.
It's not happening.
Dude, you never know what's going to happen, man. In any case, and you never know. Come on. KG didn't play with Minnesota forever, although there was good reason for that. Paul Pierce didn't play with the Celtics forever. Jordan came back and went to the Wizards. I mean, who knows what can happen? But that being said, the Warriors have to maximize the last years of Curry. They cannot afford to spend money on Draymond Green if he's an older player that's going to be hurt because he's been injured more often than not the past couple of years. They got to get young, and they got to make sure that they can hand the ball off to the next young star, whoever that's going to be. So that's what they're trying to do.
Yep. Drunk brings up a good point here. Wiggins got to get maxed out. If I had to choose between Wiggins or Poole as far as that max deal, if Wiggins carries over what he did in the playoffs and at the end of the season and gives me 82 games of it plus another postseason run, I'm maxing out Andrew Wiggins. He's only 25, 26.
Yeah.
Why not? And he's got all this experience already.
Yeah.
So he can only get better than what we're already getting from him. I would much rather max it out, use Poole as trade value, 100%, and start building more of that. Because when you really think about it too, in 3 years, well, next year they're gonna have James Wiseman, and then the following years after that they're gonna have Moses Moody and Kuminga. some guys you won't see in a Warriors uniform.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, man. Like I said, it's all about Steph Curry. So I'm 100% with you. Depending upon what next offseason looks like. Remember, the Warriors have always been a very aggressive team on the open market. So whenever players
Mm-hmm.
are available via free agency, via trade, they are always in the mix and in talks with teams like that. So the way to look at it is assets, man. If you're going to hand out that max contract, you hand it out to Wiggins or you hand it out to Poole or you don't hand it out to anybody and you wait to see what's on the market or what players will be available next offseason. And then you don't have
Yeah.
Draymond on your books, you don't have Wiggins on your books, you don't have to pay these guys. Now you're sitting on $30 million worth of cap space, if that, and you can go out and actually get another star to put next to these players. Not only that, you could trade those young players for, guys to come off the bench or whatever you want. So I think the Warriors are in a prime position, again, because they drafted their talent instead of traded for it. They still have a lot of their own assets. So, in my opinion, I think that what's going to happen is the Warriors will not extend anybody until they get to a point that they decide that the guys that are available, either via trade or in the open market, are not going to come to them. Once they get that down, they'll give Wiggins his money, no problem. But if there's somebody out there that they're interested in, if a big name player becomes available, the Warriors, they'll move heaven and earth. They'll go
Kevin
get him.
Durant.
What did you say?
I'm sorry, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. Hey man, it's a possibility because
I'm joking. I'm
the
joking.
Nets
My
the
bad.
Nets might get bounced out in the first round again next season, man. There's no doubt about it. Because I know Kyrie going to the Lakers next year. You can mark my words on that. But I don't know where if I don't know where KD going. So, oh
Let's
man,
get caught up with Drunk's comments here because he's keeping us busy here. Wiggins is too essential. He actually can lock up the other team's best. I mean, he's their best outside of Draymond. Wiggins is their best
yeah,
defender, on ball and off ball as well. So, and that takes pressure off of Klay Thompson because that was Klay Thompson's role before Wiggins showed up. Because they weren't asking KD to lock up their best defender; it was Klay Thompson's job. So now the fact that you have two guys on the court who can guard their best players, I mean, and realistically, when it comes down to it, you're going to want defense over anything in that last possession there. And Andrew Wiggins has proven that defense really matters down the stretch there. So, I think the Warriors will evaluate talent after this year. I think they will hand out a max contract. It just can't go to Draymond, man. You ain't earned no more max contracts. You earned a minimum contract after
right,
this year.
right.
Um,
And that's why I said, oh wait, hold on. Let me go back. Yeah. Oh no, get back to the chat. So back to Drunk again with my thing is you get rid of Poole, the Warriors' future is up for grabs. Yeah, no, I mean that's true. I mean if they really think he's that good, then yeah, they'll definitely pay him. I guess the question is,
yeah.
do you think he's that good? Like, do you think he's a player that's going to actually help you win titles? I honestly, in my opinion, I think he's a really good player that can come into a game and put up points for you. I don't think he's the type of talent that's going to replace or even be up to 60% of what Steph Curry offers your team right now. So if you still have your stars on the team, I think he's great with them. But if, let's say, 5 years from now, all those guys retire, I don't know if Poole is gonna. I don't know if Poole is an all-star caliber player at this point.
Well, it's hard to tell
Yeah.
because this is going to be his second full stint in the NBA here. But on that note, Drunk, with I don't trust Moody, to me, you got to keep Poole. I think if Moody shows something this year where he starts starting games and stays in that lineup, that's going to be real interesting. I like Moody's game a lot. Um, I want to see what he could bring on the defensive end, though. We really haven't seen much defensively from him. And you're right, that leads into the Klay injuries here. But I think that's why Andrew Wiggins is going to be more deserving of that contract is because of that defense. Poole's too vulnerable on the defensive end because he got cooked in the finals by Marcus Smart, of all people, in that matchup there. And so I think if Poole is really going to want to keep that value, that defense has to get improved if he wants to kind of be the heir to Klay Thompson is the defense, because as much as Klay scores, we've all seen Klay play defense too. So it's it's going to be so interesting this year on how
Yeah,
this season plays out
it
for
is.
them.
So and I don't drunk also chime in with the Clay's injury is going to catch up to him soon. Pull is his replacement, so he's auditioning to be the next Splash brother.
I mean, he's the Splash baby brother right
Yeah,
now. We'll call him the
Splash
Splash
baby,
baby brother here.
but here I'm gonna throw this one out here to you, drunk, and to you too, B. The Lakers had some conversation with the Pacers this offseason about getting Miles Turner. He's still going to be on the trade block the entire season. Would you trade Draymond in a pick for Miles Turner, first round pick?
See you, Draymond. Bye.
So I guess that's what I mean. They're gonna be
Bye, Draymond.
there are gonna be plays out there that the Warriors I think can make to better themselves if things don't certainly go if they don't necessarily go their way. And so that's why I think that the Warriors are excited about their young talent, but I think they also in the back of their mind they're thinking we got to win as many championships as we can while Steph Curry's on the roster. And take it from a Laker fan, when it's about winning championships every year, young guys only mean one thing: they're assets. That's it. They either mean more to you or they mean more being traded to somebody else. That's it.
Go read Drunk's comment right now.
Hold on. Oh, my thing isn't. It didn't. Yeah, I haven't caught up yet. Hold on. Oh yeah.
I'll trade Draymond for a
bag of Fritos in a second. Dang, that's rough. I mean, Draymond does have some skill.
He's got a little bit of value.
Yeah, he does have some value. I mean, he's not that bad.
That's the pleasure of having a good core like the Warriors do.
Yeah.
There's veterans who can come over here that they could trade for, and keep that championship drive alive. I'm all for the youth movement and everything. But if I could bring in a guy who's got 4 years of NBA experience and at a very skillful level and can come in and make a difference, I'm willing to give up something for that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
If the offer's there, you have to entertain that.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and say, no, we're going to shoot it down, because it's less money for that veteran player than you giving money to somebody and then they don't pan out after that.
Yeah, and isn't Draymond on an expiring contract this year?
This is his final year.
That's perfect because that's just cap relief, So and, I mean, teams like Utah, the Pacers, there's a few teams out there that are just looking to dump salary because they're starting over again, and so yeah, that's a great one. And like I said, I just brought that up because the Lakers have been piddling around. We're so afraid to trade our 2029 pick because we want to because we want to draft Bronny James so he can play with LeBron. So, but in any case, a team like the Warriors could easily say we've got our first round pick. It's not going to be that high, but hey, if you're willing to take this in Draymond and you can take the roster, you take the roster dump, you get the salary kickback, and we'll take Miles Turner off your hands. He'll re-sign with us because we're a championship team and we think we can convince him and call it a wash. I mean, there will be opportunities like that throughout this season and in the off season next year. So guys shouldn't overvalue guys like Draymond. You do have some value. It's just that you have to look at it from a team perspective. And when you start punching people and stuff, all of a sudden your value starts to drop even more so. So, not a good look, my friend.
No, not at all. But we got the NBA getting ready to come up pretty soon, so we'll definitely be diving into more NBA talk.
All NBA on you.
As it comes up here. But Drunk, we're gonna talk. I want to bring up a little baseball. I don't know if you've been watching the baseball playoffs and the wild card here, but there was an incident just not too long ago. I say maybe about an hour and a half ago, where the pitcher for the Padres, and mind you, they've gotten rid of the substance ban for pitchers here. Like, that was such a big controversy because they were juicing up the balls, and it was starting to become a pitcher's league. And let me ask you this, Taj: in 40, 50 degree weather, have your ears ever got so sweaty that it glistened in the night?
Sweaty ears is interesting, to say the least. Generally, you get sweat behind your ears, and I know I've never been in a situation, especially not. First off, let's start with in 40-degree weather. I don't think your ears should be sweating. I mean, unless you're Kevon Looney.
Come on, man, leave my guy alone.
You shouldn't be sweating all like that. That's not necessary.
But let me put it to you like this: the camera panned on him. His ears were so damn oily, he made the Rock look non-shiny, to say the least. There.
Oh my gosh!
And so, they stopped the game. The umpires had a little huddle, and they go rubbing his ears like this, and I was yelling for it, dude. It was the best thing I saw all day today. Was that he
Oh
was
man.
rubbing his ears like this, and then continued on with the game. And then there was some chirping back and forth because it slowed the game down. But it was pretty goddamn comical to say the least
Oh
there.
man. Then a
So
bunch of grown men rubbing their ears trying to see what's going on back there. That's funny.
drunk, pull up the video of Musgrove. Just pull up, dude. First of all, Musgrove's ears are about the size of
Oh yeah,
AT&T
he's got some
antennas around the
satellites
world.
going.
He's got satellites, but when you look at his ears, dude, them things were loaded, dude. They were loaded.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it does seem a little suspicious, I must say.
It was it was pretty bad,
That's
man.
funny.
But baseball playoffs are in full effect. I love it. Every pitch is that much more important. And now we get into the meat of things here. So I'm gonna go on a limb. Um I didn't get a chance to really talk about it, but I'm going if there was a team I would want to win this World Series title, and it damn near ain't the Los Angeles Gay Boys or Dodgers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Um,
Don't
I,
get us canceled, man. We just started, B.
I'm
Don't kill us, alright? No, they're gonna kill us. Stop it.
I am going with the Seattle Mariners, a team that came down. Dude, they were down 8-1 in the game, came all the way back after beating half of the Blue Jays roster. Like, dude, they were hitting almost every batter that came up to plate.
Damn.
Yet they still won 8-1, and it was pretty wild. And so if I had to choose a team to root for in these playoffs and to go far and to win the championship, I got to give it to Seattle, man. They are that is a loyal baseball town. They don't have much for going on for them besides soccer and the Seahawks. So I'm rooting for them in regards to that there.
It's
But
Starbucks coffee.
let's get to the chat real quick. We got Crumble's strategy. It's to get him off his game. He's only given up one run in the last 6 games. Dude, Musgrove is a great pitcher. I don't want to take anything away from that, but his breaking ball today was snapping. I've never really seen it snap that much watching him pitch against the Giants and in the NL West. So it just looks suspicious because, dude, my high definition TV ain't the best, but that shit was shiny as hell on that shit was shiny as hell on my end. But that's it was they called it something on TV. It was a game within the game pretty much. Um, so is yeah, it was interesting.
Eargate, they're calling it.
Eargate. They don't have the pitching to really compete. They don't. They really don't. But I really think that offense can really keep them in games here. And it's a young team too. They really don't. They're really not playing for much with the Mariners. So, it wouldn't be. It'd be a nice little dark horse story if they can come around and do that. Although there's some bangers in the American League here. So, the two teams I hope choke the most are going to be the Dodgers and the Yankees. That's just my personal opinion there because we want Aaron Judge. So we'll take that. And then Buck does this all the time. Yep. Yeah. And then Drunk says, last thing I'm going to say about the Cards is Yachty gone. Expect us to be the Diamondbacks next year. Well, you got Paul Goldschmidt, so you're halfway there. But it's, don't put it past the Cardinals to compete. To compete next year. They always do. They find a way. But losing Yachty and Molina in the catcher's position is a big void to fill for the Cardinals. So that's going to be pretty good there. And yeah, they still have Arenado. So the team, I think the Cardinals are set up for good. There's not really much talent in the NL Central outside of maybe Milwaukee, and that's a far stretch. But other than that, it's the Cardinals are going to compete in there. Luis Castillo, he was if Drunk, if you could confirm with me, he was on the Rays previously, right? If someone could confirm that with me. Lamar Jackson's in the red zone. Come on. My bad. I still got my fantasy matchups going on. Arenado's still good. Arenado can leave in the offseason, I believe. I don't think Arenado's going to leave. He's part of a contender now. He wasn't getting that in Colorado, so I think he'll stay there because that bat's pretty valuable in that lineup there with him. So, um, it'd be interesting. But these next round of playoff matchups are going to be fun, man. This is gonna be good here.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball is gonna get Luis Castillo was on the Reds. Okay, thank you. Sorry, who was the pitcher on the Rays? That their only good pitcher, and it wasn't. I'm not talking about Blake Snell either. They had another guy prior to then, with that
Yeah,
there.
dude, I'm not.
But
My
I know
dumb
we're a little.
ass ain't gonna know.
But there is a report about my Giants, and I'll see it when I believe it. But they are going to make a hard push for Trey Turner and obviously Aaron Judge. So when you spend the money, Farhan, I'll believe it. But when you hold on to that money, you can't take that money to the grave, man. Pay the
That's
people
right.
so we can put people in the stands, man. We've talked about that
Might
before,
as well. What's the point?
right? Exactly
Can't
there,
man
but.
sitting on your hands.
Drunken Crumbles, if you guys have a team that you believe is going to win the World Series, let's hear who your teams are. I'd like to get your feedback on that there. While we wait for their responses here, Taj, did you watch the Redeem Team on
No, I
Netflix?
saw it on Netflix. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I know
Watch it.
it's good. I know there's going to be a lot of talk about Kobe, which I love. So I'm definitely going to get in there. And only thing I saw was just a little excerpt I had about Kobe running through Powell in their game against Spain. So I'm looking
Bro,
forward
that
to
was
I'm looking forward to watching the whole thing and really getting into it.
I love that comment. He ain't on my team
That's
yet.
because that's what I like. Mamba
um,
mentality, baby.
Let's see. Crumbles is going with the Guardians just because I've been a fan since I was a child, but that is a wish and most likely not going to happen. Hey, they are. It's a Terry Francona team, and Terry Francona can get his guys up and going there. So that's actually a really good pick there, Crumbles. I actually like that a lot with that team there. I just wish we could call them the Indians, but for legal reasons, we can't. Crumbles, if you could, we haven't gotten a chance to get to know you, so let us know where you're from, man. We'd like to know how you heard about the B&T Sports Talk as well, man.
Absolutely. Subscribe and hit that
Oh,
notification.
he
Let
is.
us know.
He's one of our
Oh, for
subscribers,
sure.
man.
Well, then that's even
Yeah.
better then.
But yeah, dude, watch the Redeem Team.
I'm
That
gonna watch it.
was.
I'm gonna check it out.
He said Taj knows me. Oh, you know him, T.
I do.
Yeah, he says he knows you.
Oh damn. Then I'm slipping then.
Oh, Crumbles, go get him. He was at my house most recently. Yo, whose house was you at?
Whose house was I at? Dude, dude, I'm lost,
Taj,
man.
man. You're falling apart on me.
Like I just.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
the
bad. I'm
Guardians.
just his Lon. What's up, Lon? How you doing, man? Man, the crumbles thing threw me off. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. What's going on, Lon?
Oh man, but yeah, I like the Guardians. It was a real young team there. They got a lot of upside there, and they sprinkled in a couple veterans there. So it's gonna be good to see. But just to get an update on the Sunday night game, my Ravens are in a barn burner, up 16-10. If you have Justin Tucker on your fantasy, celebrate. He is kicking field goals left and right. It doesn't look like my over under on the Bengals is looking too hot here.
Nah, man, you probably gonna lose. I'm
I'm
looking
going
to be.
one. I'm going 1-2 this
I'm
week, which gives me a record. I was 2-1. I'm at 500 now.
I'm trying to be 3-3. I'm trying to be 3-0, man. At least this
Three and
week.
oh.
At least
You
this
trying to go
week.
5-1
Five and
on
one.
us?
I'm trying. I'm certainly
I'll be
trying.
rooting. I'll be rooting for you, sir.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't have to root for someone in particular, but I'll definitely be
Oh
rooting
yeah.
for that
And
over
then
for
I
you.
can then I could run my show. I could have my own show. I'm gonna come with the cash next time since I'm not making no money this time. I'm just gonna feel stupid is what it is. But oh, yeah, I hit all of them. What'd you win? Nothing. Just just for kicks.
Bragging rights on my own sports show.
Exactly right. Oh
Well, chat
man.
before we call it a night, if you guys got anything else to chime in on, let us know. We'll leave the floor open to you guys before we call our Sunday night it.
Absolutely, man. So I'm keeping an eye on this dumbass preseason game, watching watching the Lakers go down the stretch 113 to 115. This game means absolutely nothing, but it's a close game, and it may be the one time I get to say that the Warriors lost to the Lakers this season. We'll see how it goes. I mean, who are these guys playing? I don't even know who these guys are at this point.
They got their G leaguers in
Yeah,
them right
yeah.
now, man.
We got Scottie Pippen Jr. out there.
Hey,
This
it's actually a good run for him too.
No, I mean he's not a bad player, man. He had some good run in the summer league. Enjoyed watching
Yeah,
him.
but
Let's see, we
oh
got
man,
anything else coming through? I think that's hey man, that might be a wrap
uh,
player.
I think this may be it here. So drunk and
And Crumbles
appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in. We missed all y'all.
for sure. Y'all take it easy. As always, if you're interested in being a part of this, we always love to have guest speakers on. So reach out to us, let us know. We'll be happy to have y'all on to discuss some of the many sports topics that we fumble through. So we appreciate everybody being on. We're getting this started for real. So every Friday there's going to be a show for Pick'em Dummies. We will be picking our 3 best picks for the NFL. And what time is it on Friday, B?
8 p.m. this Friday.
8 p.m. Next Friday. And then, of course, we'll be back on next Sunday again on the 16th. Yeah, on the 16th.
16.
With another riveting show. Next show, we're going to dive into one more big topic that we didn't get a chance to cover, which was the Ime Udoka saga with the Boston Celtics. So we're going to have that as one of the things we discuss along with the football for the weekend. So can't wait to get into that. As y'all know, I'm a big basketball guy, and I want to have a chance to talk about why the Celtics screwed up some young woman's life. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man, get ready. NFL, we got NBA predictions coming up pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully Draymond Green makes it to ring night.
He ain't gonna be there. You must be out your mind.
Dang, man, that's toe up, man. He could at least be in a suit and get his ring. He don't have to actually play, right? You think we got to put a bet? Man. That's a bet right there.
It's gonna be raw for a minute.
That's a bet right there.
Oh, if he's gonna be there?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When we have our NBA preseason or our preseason show, all
right.
We'll put that.
Yeah, man. We might have to put a 6-pack some on that, man. I'm curious. I think he will be there just in a suit. But it sounds like you're saying, he might not show his face for a while.
Hey, Drunk, by the way, you have a bold prediction on the NFL season that the Lions would win more than the Packers. You're not looking too hot right now. Hopefully they'll turn it around for you, Drunk. I'm pulling for you, bud, but it's not looking too good. But in any case, Taj, you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Give the family my best.
Will do. Same to you, man. I know it's a party going on back there in the background, so enjoy the festivities and finish watching your game, man. Hopefully your boy Lamar Jackson come up big and make one more big play, and the game is over.
Not throwing interception in the end zone on 4th and goal. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, he does that sometimes. So what do you want to do?
And you want to talk about Jimmy G not being a good quarterback? Get out of here.
Now we ain't gonna be comparing Jimmy G to Lamar Jackson now. Come on now, hold on now.
I did it,
man. If he had that, think if Lamar had that defense, man, all he would have to do is gain 5 yards every play. Like that's all the Niners do. Niners gain minimal yardage. They do just enough, and that's it. The defense takes care of the rest.
That's true.
All right, man.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Have a good night. Love you guys.